The failed attack on Flight 253 raises critical questions about airport security and America's ability to keep an eye on terrorists. Joining me now is Larry Johnson. He's the CEO and co-founder of Berg Associates. It's an international consulting firm. He's a former deputy director of the State Department's Counterterrorism Office. Larry, great to see you tonight. This all raises a question. 8 years after 9/11, how much better are we at screening people who go aboard aircraft?
Well, we're better than before 9/11, but let's put it in the right context. This is 15 years after al-Qaeda made its first effort successful to put a bomb on a plane. That was Ramzi Youssef, who was the bomber of the first World Trade Center in 1993. In December of 94, he took components on board a Philippine airline flight. He built it in the bathroom, placed it under a seat, got off at the next stop, plane took off, it blew up in midair. So we've known about this threat for 15 years, and what's sort of stunning to several of us who've worked the aviation security issue over the years is that despite knowing that even to this day there is no effective technological solution in place at the airports for passenger screening in terms of what a passenger takes on board a plane and for carry-on luggage that would prevent a bomb. So that's just the sad reality.
So you're saying that there's nothing in the existing system that could have prevented this fellow from bringing this on board?
Nothing that's required and in place. There are a variety of systems. There are two basic types of explosive detection systems. One's called trace detectors. Basically, think of a dog's nose. It sniffs out elements that have been left over. The problem with the trace detector, though, is that someone who's skilled can package it in such a way that you will not pick up the trace elements of the explosive. The other one's a bulk detector, something like the CT scan that's used right now for checked baggage. That has a little bit better success, and there's still some limitations there. The point is that since 9/11, we have put in place professionals at the security checkpoints. That's a good thing. They have requirements to check, to X-ray and submit and look for explosives in checked baggage. But at the passenger boarding spots, that's still a massive vulnerability, and there's no quick fix to it.
Okay, well let's look at the progression of airport security. After 9/11, you couldn't take on board any sharp objects for fear that hijackers might take over the cruise as they did at 9/11. Then Richard Reed comes along. You got to take off your shoes. They have to be X-rayed. Then these people come along trying to get liquid explosives on aircraft. Now you're limited to the amount of explosives. Goodness knows what eventually is going to come out of this latest attack. It always seems like we're preparing for the last attack as opposed to the next one. Are we simply playing catch-up here? Are we simply reacting?
Yeah, we're not even playing catch-up. I disagree with you in this sense. I go back to the Pan Am 103 bombing when I first started at U.S. State Department and the Counterterrorism Office. It took us from 1988 until 2001 to start putting in place requirements to screen, check baggage for explosives. That was over 13 years. And now we've had since 1994 where we know a person, an al-Qaeda operative, brought a bomb on board to build on board, and we still have not put in place the technologies at those checkpoints that can prevent it. So I'm not even sure we're reacting. We're going to wait. Well, this is not waiting until the horse escapes the barn. We wait till the horse escapes, the barn's burned to the ground, and then we run around saying, quick, somebody, capture the horse.
Earlier today, when you were on with my colleague Kira Phillips, you were talking about the idea of the U.S. government needing some sort of Manhattan Project.
Yes.
Or Manhattan Project style of program to come up with new technology at the airport. Can you detail some of that for us?
Yeah, well, there's been a little bit of that effort, FAA, but there has not been, you've not marshaled the resources of all the national laboratories. We have an enormous network of national laboratories across this country that were initially in place to build nuclear weapons and to prepare to deal with the Soviet threat. That threat's gone away. These national labs have been looking for a mission in life. The one thing that no president has done, not President Clinton, not President Bush, and not President Obama yet, have to marshal those national laboratories and say, let's put a Manhattan Project together to develop viable technology that will detect explosives that people can hide on their bodies. Because this threat's not going to magically go away. The good news we face is that, fortunately, the al-Qaeda guys are fairly incompetent at this.
All right. Larry Johnson, good to talk to you tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.